All right, I'm getting Jake back. I'm getting Jake back in a second. We're going to continue in 1 second as soon as Jake clicks back on. Yo, what's up, Gary? I got your text. I'm going to hit you after this. Let's see. Jake. All right, Jake, hold on. I'm going to get you back on in 1 second. How do I get back on? Let me see. All right, I can do it right now. There it is.
We're back.
Yo,
We talked for too long, man.
there's a time limit. So
Yeah.
what were you saying a second ago? What did you ask me? Do you remember?
No, I actually I did have one more thing I wanted to ask you. I wanted to see, has it been weird trying to, now that you're working on the score for the film, has it been weird for you to, well, I guess, how can I phrase this? I guess, is it weird to kind of marry those two skills that you have, those two kind of your passions? Is it weird having to kind of marry those two? Can you separate yourself as a musician from being the director of the film, or I
Yeah.
guess,
No,
what is your process like with that?
that's a good question, man. The way I see it, it's like if you're a painter and you're a really good painter, and then somebody says, paint my house, and you see the guy's vibe or the girl's vibe, and you go, hey, you know what? I think I can do something really rad on that, so I'll paint your house. And then somebody else asks you, hey, paint my house. And you know how to paint. You've got the tools, you know how to do it. And you look at their house, you go, I don't think I'm the right person to paint your house. Your house is great.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to paint, but I don't know if I should paint your house because I don't know if my thing should go over your thing. So my worry with doing the score, I'm just like, yeah, I know how to make fucking music. I know how to do, I can do it fast. I can do this. I have a partner, my friend Tim in Chicago, who's been producing with me for a decade. We're definitely capable, you know. The question is, at the end of the day, it's like, should we be doing this? You know, not can we, or not, you know, not even about how do you feel. Like I feel fine, you know what I mean? I feel great. Sure, let's do it. I'm lucky to have something to do, you know. I'm very fortunate, but I think what I learned when directing this film, something Raul, our producer, really kind of, just watching him, I kind of picked some stuff up, but I'm learning stuff about myself where in music, when you're sitting there and you're playing, you're in your room making music, and you're like, I need bass. You're like, I can call the bass player again. You know, if you don't know somebody, I got to pay. Or if you don't have a home recording studio, you got to go to a studio. But you're like, you got to figure out how to do it all by yourself. So you're self-sufficient, and then you learn how to do everything, and then you start doing it all. And then you're like, all right, I'm going to do the bass, I'm going to do the guitar, I'm going to do the beat, I'm going to do the vocals, I'm going to do everything. So when I started, I like, wait, I can't, there's no way I can do everything here. This is impossible. Like, I actually can't even do anything. We got to get a props, wardrobe, DP, AD. I didn't even know that a DP originally. I wasn't even quite sure that a DP did the lights, you know, and it didn't make me any more or less, in my mind, qualified or capable because the thing that I said that I was learning off of Raul, and back to what you said, I learned like how to do it. I got to learn how to be able to just hire the people who are the best that I feel, people I fuck with, and be able to see that in them, be able to look at you know, I want to hire this person to do
Yeah.
this. I'm going to hire this person to do this. And that's how I did the whole film, you know, like casting the actors. We're going to get Jake and Aldous to play the FBI guys. We're going to get Val to play Uncle Angelo. We're going to get, you know, Clara to play Diane. Like you're just picking. I want this room to be with a green outline and a pink wall, you know. I want it to be messy. It's like you get to pick, you're just getting other people to do all this shit. So with the music, I was kind of like, I want to get somebody else to do it because I want to continue on the same vibe that I've been on, just getting people to hiring the best, you know, with what we can get, you know. And we've been fortunate enough to be able to get the best, you know, as far as I'm concerned. So it's a little tricky because I'm kind of like, sure, I want to play basketball, but can I just get Jordan to play for me, you know? Because he's definitely going to win, you know? I don't know. I might win. But
Yeah. Sometimes you just have to relieve, or like you have to just kind of leave it up to the people that you trust and that you know how to do this shit, you know, and like like you're able to, when you trust someone and there is trust involved in some sort of creative process between two people, you're also able to impart your own creativity into it and it becomes a collaborative process, you know. You can both work together. Doesn't mean that like you know how to work some crazy orchestral like, you know, operating system that like, you know, adds strings to some like moody part of the film. Like you can say, yo, I want strings there, like let's do that.
And
then
I'm such a fan. I'm such a fan, so I'm like, yo, let's get Jake, let's get whoever, like Nils Fromm, Mika Levi, all these people that are amazing. I'm such a fan of all these people. I'm like, can we get them? Because these people are fucking great, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to look at, I think, but to answer your question fully, it's tricky because I've been doing the whole movie like that, and I've been really enjoying kind of hiring people that I really fuck with because I'm learning so much from that. So much. I'm watching and I'm making sure I'm involved and I'm being like, why would you do that? And then I give suggestions and I'm just learning so much and I feel like it's making me more powerful like as a creative. But you know, at the same time, you gotta step up sometimes and you gotta take those chances and you gotta swing at the ball, you know? So for the music, you know, we're just, you know, I feel great. We're being bold. We're trying different things. We're just, I feel good about it, you know? I feel good. I think it's going to be cool. But you know, when you do it yourself, it's different for me. I have a weird thing with myself. If I do it, I'm just like,
I know, man.
Well, let me see you do it.
You got to be able to take a step back, man. You got to be able to, you definitely have to be able to take a step back from the whole process and take a breath and come back to it with fresh perspective and just everything, just, you know, because sometimes it's very easy to get just fully absorbed in everything. You can't really see it, you know, like other people are going to see it, you know, like,
not at all. Yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to be the audience for a second, the viewer, and to, you know, it's, I feel like that's probably pretty tricky too, huh?
I mean, you know, you just shot a dope video with Harrison for one of your songs. Harrison, is it Ball? What's his last name?
Some Ball, yeah.
Who's in the New York Ballet?
Yep, New York City Ballet.
New York City Ballet, who's amazing. We went to go see him. I went with you guys, right? And Vera and Clara. We went to go see him do a performance in the fall. It actually blew my mind going to the ballet. I've never been to the ballet. I felt like I was on mushrooms because I was watching, and all of a sudden Harrison came out with his whoever played opposite him, and the way they were moving and the lights, it was crazy. It looked like an illusion. It looked fake to me. I couldn't, and the music and the way the whole thing was happening, fucking spectacular. I know that you must have felt the same thing because I saw your music video that features him for a song that is so sick, and then I saw the video, and you directed that, right?
Yeah.
You directed that shit. That was great, man. How did you feel? How did you
Yeah.
feel doing that? Because I know when you were editing it, you were asking me. We were kind of we were going back and forth. You're like, should this be a one shot? Maybe I should chop it up because you have all these different ideas.
Yeah.
How did you feel about working those multiple sort of things, directing, doing the music, casting, everything? Were you the concept? Did you come up with
Yeah,
the
I think
concept
it's.
as
I
well?
think that the hardest part with that was, when you're dealing with something that's a little more abstract than usual. I think it's you your options are limitless in a way because
Of
it's
course.
abstract and
Well
you
put.
can kind of do whatever you want with it. And I think there were totally there was an opportunity to go fucking wild with it, and there was an opportunity to also be more grounded with it and tone it down, and make sure that the audience can take something from it. Sometimes when things are just too fucking abstract, it's really hard for the audience to connect with it or find some sort of connection in it. I think that was very important for me to make sure that it conveys something for everyone, that there's something that everyone can take from it, even though it's
Yeah.
just this black and white dance that's and I think I really just relied heavily on Harrison to tell the story, and
It's
I
pretty moving. It's
was
great. You killed it.
blown away by his performance. I mean, he's just incredibly talented, and I knew that that was like that was my strength there in shooting that, directing that video. I knew that he was my strength. Like I could completely colossally fuck up that video, and it would something would be okay because he was in it.
Yeah.
Um, so that was definitely very important, was to make sure that people could take something from it, and to not come off as like pretentious or something, because I can't fucking stand that when you see
Yeah.
something and it's like, look at this piece of art, man. Like, it's just like fucking like, yeah, like it's really just up for your interpretation. It's you can take from it whatever you want. It's like I wanted to tell a story, and I just hope that there is that people can see that.
What's
That
the
was
name of
like
that
my
track, Dave?
biggest. It's called Mist of the Pine.
Dope.
Yeah, and then I have I'm working on another EP right now that I'm actually hoping that there's some sort of promotion with it, and that where it's going to be an actual real release, and not just I throw it up on iTunes and Spotify and hope that people listen to it.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's kind of the plan.
well, we're in a weird time with music where it's kind of like all the people I know who were, well, that's not true. I think that right now, most of the people I know who used to go and get PR, people get PR and marketing mixed up. Those are very different things. Like
Totally.
now people are just putting shit up, which I think is fucking dope. But it's just harder to navigate to get to it if it unless it's being written about somewhere or talked about somewhere. And how do you do that when you're a full-time actor and a full-time musician and a,
Totally.
a dog daddy and a husband and all that stuff? How do
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
promote that,
yeah,
especially today when it
yeah.
just seems like it all changed so much, the music industry. um
I know, but it's good. I mean, it. People need to be. I just think that people need to be more present, and I think being able to release music when you want at your own in your own time and at your own discretion is like super important for artists. Uh, I think that's good. You have more control. You have more power over what you make and what you create. And I think there's something kind of special about that. Who knows what happens, and who knows what happens when this is all everything kind of gets back to normal. But Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I do have to say, I've seen some people asking about Animal Kingdom.
Yep.
We are still on hiatus, obviously, with the pandemic. We got halfway through season 5, and I'm not sure when we're going back into production, but it's probably looking like the end of the summer. So but everything that I'm saying right now is totally up in the air, and I have no real idea of when we're going to be back and when the season's going to be back. So just a little update.
Speaking of
Not to be a
Animal
problem.
Kingdom, what's you keeping in touch with everybody?
Yeah, man. I was actually on the. I just talked to Ben yesterday. Everybody's good. Finn is back in London, and we're all just itching to get back to work. You know, um, but we'll see. We'll see. It's got to be. People got to feel as comfortable and as safe as possible before we get going again. So
What's your favorite episode of Animal Kingdom that you shot, that you were in? Is there one that sticks out?
there's so many, man. I don't know. I mean, there's just so many episodes. I
Yeah, there's a lot.
there probably yeah the one it was like season 2, I think, and my character comes out to his mother for the first time, and it was the episode was directed by Emmy Rossum, who's do you know Emmy?
I don't think so.
Um,
Maybe.
she was on Shameless with Jeremy.
Okay.
Uh, and she's now directing a lot, and she directed that episode, and it was a pretty big deal for me because I really wanted to, you know, make it feel real as possible, and just be fully committed to this character's journey. And it's I was very nervous, and I think those are always like my favorite shoots, or when I'm just like so terrified and I'm so nervous and I'm just feel like you know, I could fuck up at any moment. It's like exciting. It's exhilarating to not really know the answers. You know, you don't know the answers when you're on set. You think
Yeah.
you do. People think they do, but you never know until the camera's rolling and you're in it, and you're in the scene with your co-star, and you're just making it work and making it feel real as possible. And you know, I think the most important thing is to not stray too far from the character and how you feel the character would act in a certain situation, or how they would react to someone or something in a certain situation. So that was definitely my favorite episode for sure.
Oh, that's cool, man. I like
Yeah,
how much you respect the meaning behind the whole thing, and how it's you have to be delicate with something like that, you know? Um,
definitely. Yeah,
that's very cool.
yeah, man.
Very, so what's the favorite movie you've done besides Birthday Cake?
Besides birthday cake, uh, Besides birthday cake, my favorite was Tomato Red for sure.
Yeah.
I was just like, if there's anything such thing as method acting, I think that was the closest I'd gotten to it, because I just was just my character is kind of like a drifter, set in like the Ozarks, very southern. He just gotten out of prison, and I was just I didn't shower. I think I maybe showered twice the entire production, and I just was kind of a mess. And hopefully it worked for the character, but I think I'd never felt more engaged in something and more like I was the character, you know, like,
Mm.
maybe to a fault, you know, maybe it was too much. Maybe I went a little too far down the rabbit hole, but but you know, like, it's what happens, you know, and you can't help it. I couldn't not do that. I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't have if someone had jumped in and been like, yo, you're going a little, like, this is a little too much, I would have said, fuck you. No, it's not. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean by that? You know, what are you talking about? This is
Yeah.
who I am.
What kind of acting do you normally do? If that one seems super method, like you said, what is is there a specific style you subscribe to, or you kind of just?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I definitely think I maybe approach every character in uh, a a way that's unique to that character. Um, I don't actively seek a method or a specific approach to something. I don't really. Yeah, I think it kind of just happens spontaneously. I'm sure that there have been characters that I've responded to more than others, and like, uh, you know, it's different, man. It's like
Mm.
approaching a song. You know, you're never gonna like try and like do something different. Like, oh, like I'm gonna record everything in reverse and then like reverse it back. And you know, like you're gonna go and you're gonna sit down. And you're gonna make a fucking song like you always
Yeah.
do. You know, you might try something else. You might try a new instrument or something. It's gonna be different. Innately, that's your character is gonna be different. But a big part of it, uh, you know, I heard Vera was watching a master class with who was in the master class that you were watching? Helen Mirren, who's like the best. And she, you know, she definitely reminded me in that master class that, you know, you are 60% of a character. Can't remember the exact number. Not that it is an exact number, but 60% of the character is you still, you know?
Mm.
So it's like you can't not be yourself in these characters because
Yeah.
it's just you are you.
I just
So
I was just reading Val Kilmer's autobiography, and he talks about that. He says they ask him. It was a question about how much of the character is him, and he says he answered it the same way that you're saying. He says it's both. He goes, half is me, half is the other person. Is this fake
yeah,
person, this person off the script, and then the result is,
yeah,
he's not, not afraid to be like, oh, some of myself is in there. No, it's actually part of the process.
totally.
Part of the
And
marriage.
that was something that I had to learn too when I was like younger. I would like go on tape or something or put myself on tape for a role, and I'd be like, there was something about it. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was the fact that it was me that I
Oh
couldn't
wow!
completely become the character. And I would see little things that I do as Jake and like my
And that
little
bothered you.
consistencies as a human, and that bothered me in a big way. That I couldn't fully be the character, and that's just not. That's just not the reality of it. You know,
Yeah,
you're gonna. There's always gonna be you. You know,
yeah, yeah.
even though I want as as much as possible not to be me in these
Well,
roles.
sometimes you go more than others, right?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
depends.
definitely,
Um,
definitely. Yeah.
so Jake, really quick, let's. I know I don't want to keep you for too much longer, but a movie you did that was so fucking big. It Follows. What was the vibe
Hmm.
on that? What was the vibe on that set? I know it's pretty vague, but that movie
That
just.
was no, that's perfect because I have one of the something that was very interesting that happened on that movie. Uh, First of all, we shot it in October in Detroit, so like you can imagine, it was just it was just like a scary vibe, like that
Mm.
film shooting that movie. Um, and uh, and I remember I was very nervous because I'd watched David Mitchell's first film, and I knew I just saw something in him, and I looked up to him as a filmmaker, and I was just a little nervous working with him because I knew the pedigree of like his you know, he was it was very early obviously in his career, but there was just something I knew that he had something, so I was
Mm-hmm.
nervous about doing it. I didn't want to fuck it up. Um, and everything was going well. I'd come late to Detroit. They had already been shooting for like 2 weeks, so I was like I kind of felt like I wasn't a part of the crew yet, you know, like the the other actors in the project, they kind of like had their own like thing. It's like summer camp, and if you come
Yeah.
late to summer camp, you're fucked, you know? Like
Mm.
everybody has their clique, and like,
Of course.
so like I was already a little like the outsider, and it was like my character was kind of like the outsider too, and like I wasn't in their crew, so it was like there was something like palpable of that, like that was
Mhm.
like real and like externalizing. I was externalizing it, and so it was already a very weird vibe. And then we get to this scene that's actually didn't make the final cut of the film, and it's a scene where they're a little group. I don't know if you remember the film, but they're like kind of trying to find who gave her the STD first, and they find me, and they confront me in my bedroom first,
Mhm.
and I'm supposed to. Danny Zabato's character is supposed to punch me across the face, and the scene we did it once, and the director and David came out and was just really mad, like just like at me, like I felt like and then I did it again, and he came out again and was just mad, and kind of like telling me to do it different, um and I just felt horrible because I felt like I was just like I sucked, and I was just like ruining the scene. But it's just something about the scene didn't feel right. It didn't feel real. It felt like manufactured. It felt fake, you know,
Mhm.
like it felt like a scene, you know. It was very much staged, and like this punch had to happen, and this big confrontation. And I think that was more the reason why he was so frustrated, and I kind of feel like he took it out on me, because like it kind of the scene hinges on me a little bit, and but at the time I didn't know that shit. I didn't think about that. I was like, oh my god, I'm horrible, like I suck, like this dude doesn't like me, and like he's, you know, there's nothing I can do to salvage this scene, you know. And then once I saw the film and it came out and that scene was cut, I really thought I fucked it up. I was like, oh my god, I fucked that up. Like they cut that shit because I was so bad in it. But I like to think that it just didn't work in the film. And actually now I actually went back after the film kind of had some success. I read the script again later. Um, and it didn't feel right. That scene just didn't feel right because it felt, I mean, I'm sure you're going to run into this too with your film. It's a little harder because
We did.
your film is so chronologically in place that it's kind of hard to cut things. But
But we have run into it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
yeah,
It's not
yeah, and
about anything. It's
you
just
gotta totally. And
yeah.
sometimes you gotta kill your darlings and all that stuff. And I get that and I understand that. But I think that that scene just didn't work out. But it was a funny moment where again I thought that I would just had, you know, ruined this thing, and or like let the director down, and kind of felt shame like that I had maybe wasn't the guy for the role. And then I saw the film, and you know I felt like I gave a good performance in that movie, and I was very happy with my performance in it. I was
Absolutely.
very happy with the film. But you know, there's always those moments where that happen where, you know, it could mean 100 things. You know, it could mean the lighting was off in
Could
the
be
room we
anything.
were shooting in. It could have just the punch wasn't working, or the, you know, he could have been just, it just didn't work. And he's like very he's a stickler about every tiny little thing. I mean, that's a director who is very much, every breath you take is means something. And he's all, everything's on long lenses, and like just slow moving shots. Every shot is like an ordeal, you know. It's like I remember I just wanted to do the scene, but like it took, and it was cold, and we had to like sit in outside and in this scene, and like it was taking forever. Like this, like maybe one and a half page scene took 2 hours, 3 hours to shoot, 4 hours to shoot, because it was just so specific. And then I go onto Animal Kingdom set, and we shoot 9 pages a day or something, 10
Wow.
pages a day. We go in and it's like bam, 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 bam. You know, it's
Yeah.
just it's so different. TV and film too. And I mean, you know, TV now is different, and it's, you see these shows that are more like, you know, a film an episode, which I really like.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, man, that was wild for sure.
That movie was I mean, holy shit! Talk about a fucking. You've been a part of so many things that were so successful. It's crazy, you know. I'm so, and I say this, you know, I'm so excited to see where your career is going to go, Jake. And I'm gonna, anything that I make, I'm gonna definitely put you in that shit. And because you're so
Likewise,
talented, man,
boy.
and music as well, man. Your music is so good, man. If you, whoever's watching this, whoever watches this in the future, look up his music. Just look it up. Just Google. Just YouTube his name. Watch the videos. Watch the music. It's all so. There's so
Yo,
much
watch.
there.
Jimmy directed my video for the song Eternal, and it's fire.
That was dope. That was dope.
That was one of the first things we made together, and it's just like a little piece of us. That kind of symbolizes our.
And Vera was in that.
Yeah, Vera's in it. Yeah, man, that was the beginning of it all. But yeah, man, likewise, bud. I'm so like seeing you go through this process has been so special, man. And just like seeing, you know, like talking about that video, like we were just shooting on something for $40 and now you've made this film, and it's like a very, very big deal, man. And it's like I'm so not like I'm proud of you, man. Like that you were able to like really
you're so supportive,
step up,
man.
dude, and make this thing happen, and use your like use these people that you've created these relationships with and finally kind of like culminated into one thing. It's special, and I can't wait to see the film. And thank you for having me on this thing. And
Of course.
and it's been fun, man. And hit me up when you get out to LA, man.
Yeah, man. I'll be there in like. I'll be there soon. I should be here for a week, and I go to Chicago for a second, and then I'm gonna come out there, and I'm gonna bring my camera. Maybe we'll make some shit.
100%.
I got some stuff.
I got some heaters that need some visual work.
Dude,
so.
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to go. I have, remember that buildup I was telling you about? I gotta take a piss. Even though we're editing and working on the music, I need to do something, man.
You can come out here and take a piss, bud. Let's do it.
I was just talking to Luke and my buddy Tom, and I'm like, let's film something tonight. We're walking around with our masks on here in Brooklyn, and I'm looking around. I'm like, yo, let's do something tonight. So I got that itch, man, and I know you're down, and you're like a Swiss Army knife of talent. You could just, so we'll do some cool stuff. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, Jimmy.
All right, Jake. Thank you so much for chatting with me on this thing.
Of course, man. Of course. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Peace, Jake.
Peace.